What's going on, guys? Alex with Acing Tennis here, and I owe you guys a recap for my past weekends. The plan was I was going to my very first singles tournament. Now this was a USTA Georgia Level 3 State Hard Court Championship tournament at 300 points. That's the title of the tournament. I don't know what any of that means hardly. According to the information, Level 3 tournament means that it's like the highest amount of points that you can get for your matches or something, but we'll see how all of that goes. Going to my first singles tournament, I wasn't sure what to expect. My wife and I were both going, and we wanted to play as much tennis as possible. We signed up for 2 events each. She signed up for the NTRP 4.0 women's doubles, and then she signed up for open singles because she noticed that there weren't a lot of people in the open singles bracket. I signed up for 4.0 men's singles and 4.5 men's singles. Now, the reason I did the 4.5, even though I am a 4.0, is because I wanted to play as much tennis as possible, and I also wanted to challenge myself while also maintaining some competition, if that makes sense. I was looking at the open bracket because I was considering doing that, because you never know who's going to show up to a tournament. I know open is kind of anybody. I was looking at the open bracket, and it was a lot of people that are like UTR 8 to 11, and I was like, no, that's not even going to be fun for them to play against somebody like me, who's probably about a UTR 5. Decided just to do the 4.5 and 4.0, and it was the right choice. And then maybe I should have just done the 4.0 because it was just so much tennis. Now, the way the tournament worked was it was a bracket style for each side, and if you lose your first match, you get a consolation bracket as well, so you can fight through the consolation bracket. But the way the tournament's designed is to guarantee that you get at least 2 matches in, which is really cool for me because I've never experienced something like this. I wanted to get as much tennis in as possible, and guaranteeing 2 matches in each meant that I was going to be guaranteed 4 matches across the weekend, which was great. I knew it was a lot of tennis, but I was like, that's good. But what ended up happening is I ended up doing very well in the 4.0, competing in the 4.5, but not performing as well in the 4.5, which was to be expected, but it was still a challenge for me, and I think I gave those guys a challenge. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, so here's how it went. I played my very first match Friday evening, the very first match of the 4.5, and I got center court. It was pretty cool. Didn't feel like I deserved it, but it was fun nonetheless. Played under the lights, which the lights were much better here, and I had a good time playing under the lights. Didn't have trouble seeing the ball at all, which is a real big plus, as you noticed from one of my last videos where I complained about that. Played my first 4.5 match, lost 5-7, 2-6, I believe it was, in my first match. He was a great player, had a monster forehand, very consistent shots. Because of his big shot, which is what I'm lacking currently, I was having to play defense the whole time, and he was just ripping me. And so he's just a better player than me, and I lost that match. And then I woke up for Saturday, and I had to play the consolation 4.5 match before I even got to start playing my 4.0s, which ended up really sucking because I was tired by the time I got to my 4.0 match, which I was really worried about because I'm not sure what to expect. You know, like anybody could show up for a tournament that's a 4.0 tournament. 4.0 has a very wide range of players from my experience so far. Played my 4.5 match, which ended up being the number 3 seed in the 4.5 division, who had gotten knocked out day 1. I lost 3-6, 3-6 to him, but we had a really good match. He was a great player. One of the key notable things I noticed about him is when he would go up for an overhead, he would hold his racket out to the side, like really far out to the side. I've never seen somebody do this before. So when he was going up for an overhead, instead of like pointing straight up like a serve, he would hold his racket way out to the side, and it really masked which direction he was going. So when I tried to lob him and didn't lob him very well, when he was going up for the overhead, he could go down the line, or he could go cross court or whatever. Really tough to read, but a lot of his shots kind of had that masking to him and made it very difficult to play. But he was a great player. Lost to him, so I'm out of the 4.5. Immediately after that, I got like an hour break, had to go play my 4.0 match. Now this is the very first 4.0 match, and I am exhausted already. It's my 3rd match. Started playing this guy, and we were both about the same skill level, except I think I just had a little bit of edge as far as like consistency, and my serve was better. So I ended up beating him 7-6. Won a tiebreaker first set, and then 6-2. He kind of lost a little bit of that momentum after he lost the tiebreaker and started getting even more exhausted, which I was too, but we fought it out. It was a grueling match. I had another hour and a half break, 2-hour break. I actually got a 2-hour break for this match because my 4th match now was actually, you guys have already seen me play. It was the USTA 4.0 men's national competitor. If you go find that video on my channel, I actually played him. He's a good buddy of mine. We practiced practice all the time, and so we know each other's play styles. He's got a better baseline game than I do, and he actually didn't get to play his 4.5 consolation match before this one because he was doing the same thing I was, and so he was pretty well rested and ready to go, whereas I had just gotten off a match, so he was nice enough to give me some time to recover from that. I was super tired and sore going into the match, but I'd gotten some rest, gotten some Gatorade in me, eaten some food, and had some time to recover some of my energy to try to dig deep and win the match. Man, when I tell you this was a hard match, it was brutal. He beat me 6-4 in the first set, and just doing his thing, monster forehands, big serves. He's just a strong player all around. It was so tight on a lot of the games, but I just wasn't quite there, and I was trying to play his game in that first set, and I actually had to revert to kind of a more defensive drop shot net volley game, so a lot of junk balls in the second set, which ended up aggravating him a little bit, so I started to get into his head a bit on it. He kind of struggled with that game, and I ended up winning the second set 3-6. So the way the tournament works is you have to do a third set tiebreaker because they're trying to keep matches as quick as possible. I think I won the tiebreaker like 11-9. It was an unbelievable match, and somehow I won. Big props to him because that was one of the best matches we've played. We've played like 3 times now, but I did have the junk ball to win that match. I just put on that mentality of do whatever it takes to win the match, and it wasn't pretty. It's called winning ugly, and I won ugly. It got me to the finals. So the next day I played this will be my 5th match of the tournament, and we played for the 4.0 title. We went to a tiebreaker in the first set. Ended up winning, like I think it was 11-9 or 10-8, something like that in the tiebreaker. Incredibly close tiebreaker. I just hung in there and just tried to remain as consistent as possible in our rallies. He didn't have any big shots, so it was a lot of long rallies, grueling points, and we were both tired, but we just stuck it out, and I ended up winning the first set, which I think inevitably was kind of like winning the match. I went up 5-2 in the second set. Choked on match point on my serve. I got tight and double faulted and ended up losing that game. He won that game and the next game, and so it was 5-4, and I served it out for the match. Ended up winning 6-4. It should have been a little bit better. I should have won at 5-2 there, but it's all right. I got tight. It's my first tournament's to be expected, but it was a phenomenal conclusion to the event. I had no intention of winning. You know, you go into it with very low expectations and then come out with a nice trophy here for you guys. But that's how the tournament went. For me, my wife ended up losing finals of the open singles to a girl who was absolutely incredible. She played like D1 college tennis and just absolutely just wiped the floor with my wife. My wife has not played that level of tennis since she was a junior, and this girl was amazing. When I tell you she was very good, she was very good. But then her and her doubles partner took home the trophy in the women's doubles. So congratulations to them. It was a good tournament for the household here. We took home 3 trophies in total. She got second place in the open, so she got a trophy for that as well. But that's how our tournament weekend went, guys. Really appreciate you guys. Sorry I didn't get to record any of that. It was just, I really wanted to concentrate on the tournament, and there wasn't a lot of opportunity to ask my opponents to be able to record. You know, I just didn't want to put that on them last second, especially in, you know, such an intense situation. I'll work on it in the future and try to find a way to give like a heads up to record and see if I'll be able to do that. Would really love to record some tournament matches. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. That's the tournament recap. Let me know what you guys think. If you had any success in previous tournaments and what level do you play at. I will catch you guys later, and yeah.